Picture this. It is a quiet Sunday night, and you are sitting at your kitchen table with the dim glow of your laptop screen lighting up the room. You have a spreadsheet open, or maybe just a crumpled pile of receipts and the basic calculator app open on your phone. You have spent the last 45 minutes meticulously tracking every single dollar you spent over the last 7 days. The oat milk lattes, the midweek grocery run, that random streaming subscription you completely forgot you signed up for 3 months ago. You feel incredibly responsible. You feel like a real adult who is finally taking control of their financial life. But then, you open your actual savings account tab. You look at the balance. It hasn't moved in months, not even by a single dollar. You are doing all the work, you are tracking the numbers, you are checking the boxes, but the needle just refuses to move. It makes you pause and think, wait, am I doing this entirely wrong? On one hand, tracking every penny feels like the ultimate disciplined move. On the other hand, it is completely exhausting, and it clearly isn't making you any richer. You feel stuck in this endless loop of trying hard, burning out, and ending up right back where you started. In this video, we're going to break down exactly how to stop fighting your own brain and set up a system that actually grows your savings without tracking a single receipt. My name is Jack, and I spend way too much time thinking about how everyday earners can build real wealth without losing their minds in the process. If you're someone who is tired of feeling financially stuck despite working hard every single day, make sure to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if it helps you out. Here's the thing. We have been sold a massive lie by the old-school financial gurus who tell us that the only way to get ahead is through pure, unadulterated willpower and a hyper-detailed monthly budget. They want you to believe that if you just categorize every single transaction into neat little color-coded boxes, you will magically become wealthy. But let's be completely honest with ourselves here. Manual budgeting is essentially a second job that nobody asked for and nobody wants to do. It requires you to be absolutely perfect every single day of your life, balancing numbers and feeling a deep sense of guilt every single time you buy a sandwich or go out for drinks with your coworkers. And when you inevitably slip up because life happens or you just get too busy to update the app for a week, you feel like a total failure. So what do? You quit. You stop looking at the numbers entirely because the anxiety is just too much to handle. The truth is, manual budgeting doesn't fail because you lack discipline. It fails because it goes directly against basic human nature. We only have a limited amount of willpower to use every day. Spending that precious willpower on tracking pennies leaves you completely drained when it's time to make big, impactful financial decisions. This is where it gets really interesting. Let's look at the real math behind these two approaches, because the numbers don't lie, and they reveal a massive gap between what we think works and what actually works. Let's take two people, Alex and Sam, who both earn a clean $4,000 a month after taxes. Alex chooses the manual budgeting route. Alex is highly motivated at the start of the year, sets up a beautiful spreadsheet, and vows to manually transfer $500 into savings every single month. In month 1, Alex succeeds through sheer force of will. In month 2, Alex gets hit with an unexpected car repair bill of $800, gets completely overwhelmed by the spreadsheet layout, and only manages to save $200. By month 3, Alex misses a whole week of tracking transactions, feels completely discouraged by the lack of progress, and saves absolutely nothing. Over a full year, due to the constant friction, the mental exhaustion, and the gaps in manual tracking, Alex ends up saving a grand total of $1,800. Now let's look at Sam. Sam decides to completely bypass the spreadsheet nightmare and sets up an automated transfer system. The exact day after the paycheck hits the account, $500 is automatically moved directly into a separate savings account before Sam can even see it, touch it, or think about how to spend it. Sam doesn't look at a budget once. Sam doesn't track a single receipt all year long. Even when life gets crazy, even when Sam has a stressful month at work or an off month emotionally, that automation keeps running quietly in the background. At the end of that exact same year, Sam has saved a clean $6,000. Same income, same goals, but Sam ended up with over 3 times as much money as Alex simply by removing human error and decision fatigue from the equation. Here's what most people don't realize about that math. Sam didn't win because of superior willpower. Sam won because the system made failure impossible. Here's what most people don't realize about how our brains interact with money on a daily basis. Every single time you have to manually open your banking app and move money into a savings account, your brain processes that action as a physical loss. You feel the pain of losing that cash from your checking account right now, even though you are technically just giving it to your future self. It triggers a deeply ingrained psychological response called loss aversion, which means we as humans hate losing things much more than we enjoy gaining them. When you rely on a manual budget, you are forcing yourself to make a painful decision 20, 30, or 40 times every single month. Should I save this? Should I spend that? Can I afford this specific brand of groceries? It creates massive decision fatigue that wears down your resistance over time. Eventually, your brain takes the path of least resistance, which is always to spend the money today and promise to save whatever happens to be left over at the very end of the month. But we all know the truth about what happens at the end of the month. There is never anything left over. The money just expands to fill whatever space you give it in your checking account. Automation completely solves this psychological trap by removing the choice entirely from your daily life. You don't have to choose to be good today because you already made the choice once, months ago, when you set up the system. You take the decision out of your hands, which instantly eliminates the guilt, the anxiety, and the mental tug-of-war. To make this work for you without the daily stress, we need to implement what I call the Ghost Money Framework. This is a simple, 4-step automated system designed to build your wealth completely in the background of your life while you focus on the things you actually enjoy. Step 1 is the Paycheck Detour. You need to set up your primary checking account or your employer's payroll system so that a specific portion of your income is instantly redirected the very day you get paid. You want this money out of sight before you even have a chance to log in and look at your balance. If you never see the money in your main account, you never internalize it as money you are allowed to spend, effectively turning it into ghost money. Step 2 is the automatic buffer account. This is where you route that redirected money, and it needs to be a completely separate high-yield savings account at a totally different bank than your everyday checking account. If you can see your growing savings balance every single time you open your main banking app to buy groceries or pay for dinner, you will eventually find a compelling excuse to reach in and spend it. Out of sight truly means out of mind, and putting a physical barrier between your daily spending bank and your savings bank is the ultimate protection for your future. Step 3 is the fixed bill sweeper. Set every single one of your recurring, non-negotiable bills, like your rent, your car insurance, your utilities, and minimum debt payments, to auto-pay from your primary checking account just 1 or 2 days after your paycheck arrives. By grouping all of your fixed costs right at the start of the pay cycle, you instantly clear the deck and remove the illusion that you have more money than you actually do. Step 4 is the guilt-free remainder. Whatever money is left sitting in your main checking account after the Paycheck Detour and the bill sweeper have done their jobs is yours to spend completely guilt-free. You don't need to track it, you don't need to log it in a spreadsheet, and you don't need to feel a single ounce of bad energy when you buy a premium coffee or go out to dinner with friends, because your savings and your core responsibilities have already been taken care of automatically. Think of this entire framework exactly like a commercial airline flight traveling across the country. A professional pilot doesn't manually hold the steering column perfectly straight for a 6-hour flight from New York to Los Angeles. That would be completely exhausting, and the pilot would eventually get distracted, tired, or cramped, causing the plane to drift wildly off course into dangerous territory. Instead, the pilot gets the plane to a safe altitude and immediately engages the autopilot system. The autopilot software makes hundreds of tiny, micro adjustments every single second to keep the plane perfectly on track toward the final destination, allowing the pilot to sit back, monitor the instruments, and focus on the big picture. Your financial life needs an autopilot just like that airplane. Manual budgeting is the equivalent of trying to hold the steering column straight by hand every single second of every single day. Eventually, you are going to get tired, you are going to blink, life is going to throw some turbulence your way, and your finances will drift right off course. Automation is the software that keeps you flying straight toward your financial goals. Even when you are asleep, stressed out, or completely focused on other things. Now you might be thinking, Jack, this sounds absolutely great in theory, but my income isn't perfectly steady every month. Or I'm absolutely terrified that an automatic transfer will hit my account at the wrong time, overdraw my balance, and hit me with massive bank fees. That is a completely valid fear, especially when you are just starting out and don't have a giant cushion of extra cash sitting in your account to absorb the shocks. The secret here is not to start with a massive, aggressive savings number that stretches your finances to the absolute limit and leaves you stressed. Start incredibly small, with a monthly number so low it feels almost ridiculous to set up. Try automating just $25 per paycheck. See how that feels for the first month. You will not miss $25 from your daily spending, but you will absolutely notice the psychological win of watching your savings account grow entirely without your physical intervention. Once you realize the world didn't end, your account didn't hit zero and the system actually works. You can slowly bump that number up by $10 or $20 every few weeks until you find your true sweet spot. To recap the entire system so you can implement it today, here is how you build the Ghost Money framework to permanently win the battle against manual tracking. First, set up the Paycheck Detour to move your savings instantly on the day you get paid. Second, route that cash directly into an automatic buffer account located at a completely separate bank. Third, use the Fixed Bill Sweeper to handle all of your non-negotiable monthly expenses immediately after payday. Fourth, enjoy the guilt-free remainder knowing that your future self is already fully taken care of. At the end of the day, building real wealth isn't about becoming a math genius, downloading the most expensive apps, or living a life of total deprivation where you never enjoy your hard-earned money. It's simply about building a reliable system that protects you from your own worst impulses and natural human exhaustion. You do not need to spend the next 20 years of your life feeling anxious over complicated spreadsheets just to get ahead financially. Let the technology do the heavy lifting for you so you can actually live your life today while building a secure, comfortable tomorrow. My name is Jack, and if this video helped you see a clear path out of the financial grind, please hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and share it with a friend who is tired of feeling stuck. And I'm curious about something. Have you ever tried manual budgeting before? And how many weeks did you actually last before throwing in the towel? Let me know in the comments below.